Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million online rendezvous. We are broadcasting live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. It's great to see you again. This is part of the 1 million by 1 million Global Virtual Accelerator. And this is Sramana Mitra, founder and CEO of 1M by 1M, coming to you live from Menlo Park, California, at the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm sure you are in various different parts of the world, as I know from previous sessions. So while it's good morning here, I wish you a good day wherever you are in whatever time zone. So as you know, if you have been here before, if your first time, I'll explain to you how we do these sessions. We do Q&A, basically. I pick up Q&A from all the different touch points through which we interact with our audience and do a bunch of Q&A here. And we encourage you to put in your questions in the comment section on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, wherever you're looking at this from. And we will pick up those questions. I will answer them after the video part of this interaction is over. And if it warrants a longer answer, then I will pick it up and answer it the next time. That's how we've been doing it, and so far it's been pretty good. All the recordings, by the way, are all available on our YouTube channel, 1M by 1M Roundtables. One other thing before we get started, if you are looking to work with me on your project, which many of you tend to want to do, just go to the website 1mby1m.com, go to free public roundtables, and read up on how those free mentoring roundtables are set up. You'll find the schedule there, and you can register to pitch, register to attend before you want to pitch, maybe to get a feel for it, or look at the recordings of those sessions and get a feel for how those work. They are safe working sessions, and I'll be delighted to work with you there and look at what is it that you're doing, what I can contribute by way of strategy in your particular project. Now, remember one thing, we only work with technology and technology-enabled services. So from past experience, we've seen lots of different types of entrepreneurs who show up in these sessions, and we basically will have to, we won't be able to do all of your varied types of businesses. We tend to only do businesses that are IT and IT-enabled services. So let's get started with the first question. The first question is, what have you learned from mentoring startups? Well, we've learned a lot. These days, everyone seems to be a startup mentor, whether they have ever done a startup or not, whether they've ever raised money or not, they're ready to advise entrepreneurs. I want to share with you some things we have learned in running 1 million by 1 million for 10 years. We started back in the fall of 2010. Actually, the free mentoring roundtables, we started in the fall of 2008. That was even before 1 million by 1 million was launched in its current form. And we have completed 475 free mentoring roundtables. And we have been running the full acceleration program, which is 1M by 1M Premium, now for 10 years. We have the curriculum in the market now for 10 years, and it has been enhanced every month with new case studies. So we started, experimenting with this format of mentoring a long, long time ago. Over 150,000 people have participated in our free roundtables. All recordings are available on our YouTube channel. And we use the same format of mentoring in our private roundtables that are members only, premium members only. The curriculum has been extremely effective, and we kind of know which modules are needed in what circumstances, and we immediately connect you to, point you to those modules to learn what you need to learn, what is your knowledge gap, and so forth. So, obviously the feedback is good, otherwise we wouldn't be able to do this for over 10 years. So let me go step by step on what lessons we have learned by mentoring entrepreneurs for such a long time. The first thing we've learned is it is extremely difficult to give negative feedback to entrepreneurs without triggering a defensive reaction. I was not good at this when we started. I'm very good at analyzing a business scenario, but I was never good at sugarcoating the feedback in a way that is particularly nurturing or reassuring. Very early on in our experiments with online mentoring, we told entrepreneurs that this forum is for candid, constructive feedback, and that may include negative feedback. We don't tell entrepreneurs what they want to hear. We tell them what they need to hear. While some egos get bruised, entrepreneurs have more or less accepted our approach and have given us permission to critique their ventures. I have personally gotten better at giving feedback in a palatable way. The biggest thing that has worked well is that we never, ever give negative input gratuitously. Everything has been in the spirit of helping both the entrepreneurs and the businesses grow. Nonetheless, if through this process I've offended you or hurt your feelings, let me take this opportunity to apologize. It was not my intent. Second, our hypothesis about case study-based learning and mentoring is working very well. Both at the public roundtables and at private roundtables, entrepreneurs learn not only by pitching, but also from listening to the pitches and through interactive discussions with other entrepreneurs. In addition, we have the entire curriculum backed up with case studies. So entrepreneurs are not only getting a piece of input from me, but seeing that strategy exercised by an entrepreneur who has leveraged it well already, or multiple entrepreneurs in some cases. Today, we are seeing entrepreneurs making good, solid decisions based on what they're learning from the curriculum and the roundtables without even speaking with me or anyone. And that is really cool. If you can just read about an entrepreneur's journey and learn what you need to learn just through reading and without needing to be hand shepherded, that's very scalable. From our point of view, that's incredibly scalable, and it's fascinating how well that has worked. The third point is it is a complex exercise to give people a message that goes against the grain of media hype. The entire entrepreneurship and technology media goes wild with deals like, Snapchat getting that is entirely speculative. And there are a lot of these big speculative deals. Entrepreneurs think that they can raise millions and get acquired for billions without a business model. We don't believe that. Our methodology is a bootstrapped, lean, capital-efficient startup methodology that puts a great deal of emphasis on business model and monetization. Speculative stuff is neither what we believe in, nor something we encourage entrepreneurs to pursue. As such, we are unable to get through to folks with the speculative mindset. And that's okay. We appeal to a different, more pragmatic set of entrepreneurs that are looking to manage the probability of getting funded and becoming successful. The fourth thing we have learned that I want to discuss is a lot of entrepreneurs are looking for silver bullets. They're not necessarily interested in doing the hard work needed to build a sustainable business. Building a business is a marathon, not a sprint. We don't have silver bullets. No one does. As I often say, 1 million by 1 million is like a gym membership. Either you use the machines and get in shape, or nothing consequential will happen. We do well with those entrepreneurs who are willing to put in the work and are realistic about what the outcomes can be. So folks, those of you who are joining late, the question that I'm answering right now is, what have we learned from mentoring entrepreneurs for, more than a dozen years? And I've gone through 4 points already. If you've missed it, you can go back and check in the recording. The recording will go live after the session is over. So I'm right now on point number 5. And some entrepreneurs are over anxious about confidentiality. Nothing ever gets done because they're so busy being stealth and protecting their ideas. Well, if you really have a great idea that sufficiently challenges the status quo, it will most likely get rejected and ignored, not stolen. And if your idea is very easy to steal, then you cannot defend yourself, because sooner or later you need to be in the market. Idea is necessary, but not sufficient. Strategy and execution are really what drives success, and that strategy needs to be defensible. Point number 6, entrepreneurs are obsessed with financing. The media hypes up financing. It is an unwelcome message to deliver to an entrepreneur dreaming of millions of investment money that her project is not fundable. Some cases, it's not fundable yet. In some cases, not fundable ever. Many entrepreneurs tune out if you tell them so. We do, regardless. But we also tell them that they can still build the business, and either they will have to bootstrap for a while or forever. It depends on the business. And then we teach them how to do that. But it's a very counterintuitive message. I think part of the problem with the media is this hype that entrepreneurship equals financing that they have created. Entrepreneurship equals customers, revenues, and profits. Financing is optional, exit is optional. That is our philosophy. But that message is counter to the mainstream media hype about startups, which has been difficult for us to, counter. But we've persisted, and we have continued to push that point. Point number 7, positioning is a poorly understood discipline. Most entrepreneurs do a very poor job. It is one of the key areas where we add value. This is one of my greatest strengths, so it's been a natural. I have a lot of experience with positioning, so that's something that I do a lot of. I'm very able to contribute meaningfully to people's positioning challenges, and it's something that it's a very rare skill set. So that's been something that we have been able to do great mentoring around. Point number 8, except for a few geographies, Silicon Valley, New York, Boston, most other seed capital ecosystems are less mature. They've been maturing, definitely. There are a lot more mature, at least semi-mature ecosystems that have come up since, we started. Today, there are, mature ecosystems in India. Many of the US cities, Seattle, Austin, have come up well. Chicago has improved. Even, the mountain regions have improved. Los Angeles has improved. But London has improved greatly. But it will take time for more ecosystems to mature such that investors are willing to take on significant risks. In a way, venture capital operates not as risk capital, but as growth capital. And that is just the reality. The entrepreneur has to find ways of financing the high-risk portion of the process. We try to make startups acutely aware of this phenomenon, and in those other geographies, valuations tend to be bad. If the ecosystem is immature, valuations are bad. Entrepreneurs end up working for investors pretty soon by giving away too much equity too soon. We try to mitigate all of that. But these are realities that have to be navigated. I've often seen people come from, let's say Mexico, and say, "Oh, I've given up 50% and I've raised $50,000, equivalent to $50,000," and I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! That's a terrible cap table." But a lot of that kind of shark behavior is going on amongst investors in the immature geographies. Now, there has been something else that has happened, which we have covered extensively and we have trained our entrepreneurs extensively on, is the rise of the whole micro VC ecosystem. So the seed capital ecosystem is fragmented. When I was doing my first 3 startups in the mid-90s through the end of the decade, during the first .com era, it used to be seed financing and Series A financing. But it is no longer that. It's seed, it's actually pre-seed, seed, post-seed, pre-Series A, small Series A, large Series A. It's become a very fragmented ecosystem. And in the last 3 to 5 years in particular, there's been a proliferation of micro VC funds. And these fund sizes range from 2, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million, all the way to 70, 100 million. And there are probably 700, 800 of these VCs operating in the startup ecosystem of the world. So these are people who are positioning themselves on different pieces of the startup ecosystem. So, if you're looking for pre-seed, then you need to find pre-seed funds. If you're looking for, you've validated up to a point, you've got maybe 5 customers, now you're looking for, a seed VC. So you need to find somebody who fits your stage. Just like you're looking for product market fit, you will need to find investor entrepreneur fit, because not all investors apply to all stages, all sectors, all geographies, etc. Now, let me also give you a pointer on this. If you go to the seed capital section of the 1M blog, you will see there are interview after interview of VCs, and they will teach you a lot. If you just read some of those interviews, listen to the videos of those interviews, or listen to the podcast. On our podcast channel, there are hundreds of these interviews. If you listen to them, you will get a sense of how VCs think and why I'm saying it is important to understand and seek investor entrepreneur fit. Just spraying and praying on all kinds of investors is not sufficient. You're going to have to find those 20 investors or those 10 investors, and if you're in a broadly applicable sector, then more investors who will resonate with your particular situation. So that's also tricky, and the good news is there are more options, but the bad news is that you're going to have to find the ones that apply by going through and understanding what they do, how they do it, and we are facilitating that process. Now, point number 9. Personally, I find it disheartening to see entrepreneurs give up, but they do, even good ones do. And I'm still learning to take that in stride and continue to believe that entrepreneurial energy is like air, water, and other essential elements. We need to reduce infant entrepreneur mortality. On the flip side, some people just don't have what it takes. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. This is also a core reality. So, when I'm encouraging people to go down the entrepreneurship path, these days I tell them that, look, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. And I don't necessarily know you. You're asking me for advice. I'm giving you advice based on your business and based on the data you're presenting, the background that you're making me aware of. But I don't really truly know you unless I do. So if I don't know you, it's hard for me to advise you on whether entrepreneurship is for you or not. And this is something that you have to accept. there are beyond knowledge, beyond domain knowledge, beyond business acumen, there is a very serious degree of character trait match that needs to happen for entrepreneurship to work for you. It takes tremendous resilience. If you are trying to raise money, for example, and you go to 44 VCs and they say no, that's, really hard. It's soul draining. I've done it. I'm a serial entrepreneur. So earlier in my career in particular, I have done this, like going to 45 VCs and hearing no. This is the reality of entrepreneurship. But that's not I'm just giving you an example on the investor side. It happens on the customer side. It happens on the partnership side. People say no. A very few people will say yes. So you have to have a really strong constitution and a lot of core internal self-esteem with which you can go on. You need conviction. You need tremendous resilience to be able to travel the long journey of being able to get through all the no's to those few yeses that will help you build your business. And I speak from deep experience on this. It's really hard. And then the last point that I would like to say to you is, at the end of the day, I believe intellectual honesty matters. I also observe that the startup ecosystem is inherently dishonest. And mentors, advisors, incubators, media all promise entrepreneurs things that cannot be delivered. We have tried to make 1M by 1M a pragmatic, realistic, intellectually honest community, a place where primarily entrepreneurs can learn. We do not promise the moon. We do not promise silver bullets. But sometimes we encounter entrepreneurs who join the program with expectations that cannot be met. To them, our sincere apologies. Since we do not have a screening process, we've tried to make this democratic, so we let everybody in. Equal opportunity, however, doesn't mean equal outcome. So that's my, very long answer to the question, what have we learned in the last 10 years or 12 years of mentoring startups? I hope you found that helpful. Please feel free to ask for follow-on questions in the public chat, and I will definitely pick up more questions. The next question I'm going to go to is, can you give an example of a bootstrap company being acquired with a substantial profit for founders? So let me actually explain to you a case study from our portfolio. The company is called Future Today. It was a bootstrap company. A couple of founders worked on it for a long time, more than 10 years. And then Cinedigm acquired this company for $60 million. On the buy side, this is basically Cinedigm is an entertainment distributor and digital network operator. And Future Today had a series of channels. They were doing connected TV content, content channels for connected TV networks and so on and so forth. They started actually with a food channel, iFood.tv, which was basically cooking lessons. And then they broadened to a larger portfolio and into the connected TV space as the connected TV trends became important. The acquisition is seen as evidence of Cinedigm making a big new leap into online video, according to Variety, with Future Today being an ad-supported video-on-demand network that operates over 700 free channels. This is the buy-side rationale. On the sell side, based in Menlo Park, California, Future Today is an entirely bootstrapped company that operates very efficiently. It has about 24 full-time employees in the US and India. They have produced over 3,000 original videos using their content production capabilities in India. Cinedigm hopes to leverage their low-cost production model for other divisions of the company. The company is 100% owned by founders Vikrant Mathur and Alok Ranjan. Now, one of the lessons from this particular story is the importance of pivots. Future Today started out as iFood.tv and gradually broadened to become a connected TV-focused video distribution platform. And the other lesson from this, as we discussed right at the beginning, is bootstrapping to exit. In this context, you should remember that often you make a lot more money in the exit if you have bootstrapped and have considerable equity in the venture. This is, do the math, and you will see that sometimes even after raising lots of venture capital, if you have an exit, you make a lot less money than with a smaller exit that was a bootstrap situation. Okay, I will do another question. What are some technology trends that you're watching closely? Folks, feel free to ask questions in the chat, okay, in the comments or chat, whatever. And I will either answer them today or later. So, on the trend side, we are in 2020. Obviously, there are, things going on in the market. The one that I'm watching like a hawk right now is the platform as a service trend and the associated developer ecosystems. We've discussed, over time, we've discussed all kinds of creative bootstrapping mechanisms in the 1 million by 1 million community. So in the context of the platform as a service and developer ecosystem trend, I think this is going to be a very interesting opportunity to bootstrap businesses on top of past platforms. The company that has knocked the ball out of the park with their past strategy is Salesforce.com. They launched their platform over a decade back, and many substantial companies and numerous sustainable small businesses have been built on it. Viva, for example, was built this way with a small amount of capital, and today boasts over $1 billion in revenue and over $20 billion in market cap. Recently, Salesforce acquired Velocity, which was also built on their platform, and it's a vertical cloud solution. The acquisition was a $1.3 billion acquisition. The company was making over $100 million in revenue. Also, the story of a company built on Salesforce's PaaS. My hypothesis is that of the 200 plus SaaS companies that have achieved scale, we would see a set that would break out and become very significant PaaS players. This means the industry would have 20 to 50 PaaS platforms with serious developer ecosystems and app marketplaces. The PaaS vendors would want to sell the apps developed on their platforms to their customer bases. Take, let's say, 30% in platform commission and help support robust businesses while scaling themselves exponentially. Entrepreneurs looking for a capital-efficient strategy should seriously consider bootstrapping by piggybacking on these PaaS players. So this is one of my tips, bootstrapping tips to entrepreneurs who are trying to figure out their bootstrapping strategies. Now, this is a new bootstrapping strategy, bootstrapping technique that we are highlighting a lot, which is bootstrapping by piggybacking. And the other thing that you should remember is that an entrepreneur looking at bootstrapping to an exit, which we discussed earlier, it is a lot easier to get acquired by a platform player if you've built something credible on their platform. For recent acquisitions on top of past platforms, see Atlassian acquires again from app marketplaces, an article on our blog. Atlassian has acquired a lot from their app marketplace. They're doing a very, very active app marketplace. There are lots of startups happening on the Atlassian app marketplace, and they're also acquiring from that. So it's a It's a great example, actually, of a PaaS ecosystem that is, less further along, but is also very robust, very interesting, and lots of interesting stuff is happening in that community that is, worth noting and worth learning from. So keep an eye out for the different PaaS platforms out there on which you can build an interesting company. Okay, I'm going to go to the last question today. And the question is, how can I get feedback from you on my venture? Very easy. Go to the website 1mby1m.com and go to the free public roundtables tab. 1M offers free and online mentoring roundtables for entrepreneurs looking to discuss positioning, financing, and all other aspects of building a startup venture. Up to 5 entrepreneurs who register to pitch will be able to present their businesses in any particular session. They will get straightforward feedback, advice on next steps, and answers to questions from me and possibly some of my frequent guests, CEOs and VCs. You can register to attend, to listen, learn, and join on the conversations via live chat. All who register will receive the recording by email the next day. The schedule is on the website. You can decide which session you want to register for. Those who register to pitch will receive instructions on the preparation required, including a roundtable slides pitch template. We also recommend using the 1M self-assessment tool that's also available for free on the website to help prepare to pitch. Many entrepreneurs interested in pitching have first expanded their knowledge of the essential components of building a startup by joining our monthly 1M basic program and going through the 1M curriculum. By pitching after learning the curriculum, entrepreneurs get much more takeaway value from the interactions with me during the public roundtables. Please note, we only work with IT and IT-enabled services businesses, and these roundtables are public forums. The recordings of all the sessions are shared online, and entrepreneurs who pitch will receive media exposure through the Roundtable Recap column, which is posted on our blog and elsewhere, but they are public. So if you are concerned about privacy, then you're going to need to join the premium program where everything happens in the members only roundtables and are not publicly disclosed to the world. So that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed the session. By all means, ask questions, put in your questions in the public chat sections of your various platforms, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter, whichever one you're dialing from. And we will receive those questions. And some of it I will answer today, some of it I will pick up for the next session, and hope to see you next time. And hope to see you at one of the public roundtables with your project. The whole reason we are doing this is because we want to help you get further with your businesses. So you have to have a business that you're trying to get further with for us to really be able to add value. There's one exception that I should point you to, which is bootstrapping with a paycheck. And we are very supportive of bootstrapping with a paycheck scenarios. If you have a day job, hold on to your day job and start learning. And we are very happy to work with you, as your learning tool, learning platform, while you're keeping your job and doing your day job and doing your startup or getting ready to do your startup nights and weekends. You can learn the curriculum, learn the methodology. A first-time entrepreneur's journey is incredibly steep from a learning curve point of view. So, our curriculum, for instance, is a very good starting point, and you can do that easily while you're holding onto your job and doing, getting ready to do a startup on the side. So that will help you figure out how to put one step before the other. Anyway, those are my parting comments, and I will see you next time. I will also see some of you hopefully on Thursday. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for coming.